to not commit any unwholesome action, subdue one's mind. This is teaching of Buddha. Subdue one's mind. This is teaching of Buddha. So the mind which harms to yourself, which harms to other sentient beings who are just like yourself, do not desire even smallest sufferings, discomfort, smallest sufferings, no satisfaction in the happiness, no difference between yourself and others. In that case, the tiniest insect, or you can't see with the eye, but can see through machines, including that. And so no difference between yourself and that, no satisfaction in the happiness. Not at all. Then like that. So like that. So therefore, should generate happiness. Others to not suffer and to experience happiness, one should be joyful for that. As mentioned by Panchen Lodhan Chi Jantel, I don't know, third or fourth Panchen Lama, two teachings from Panchen Rinpoche in Tibet. His one is Panchen Rinpoche in Tibet, with regard to Amitabha Buddha, and his one is Compassion Buddha, generally in Tibet. So that. So in the group extensive Guru Puja, the extensive Guru offering, the prison Guru, the extensive Guru Yoga, that so many past ancient yogis and the Tibetan great Dharma practitioners ordained, and also lay who achieved full enlightenment, especially in one lifetime, in a brief lifetime of degenerated time, who achieved full enlightenment in one life. Even that is a brief lifetime of degenerated time, so within some number of years. So even Lama Zopa Rinpoche disabled, so Java disabled, so then the Trujin Chigito, so there are many others, not only Milarepa, there are many others who achieved full enlightenment in a brief lifetime of degenerated time. So that Guru Puja, so that everyone is like that. That's like yourself, everyone is like that. As I talked yesterday or day before, so like that. So that's Perhaps maybe in the world, might be Nepal, only country which sacrifice animal most. Maybe I think maybe most in Nepal. That country, Nepal is the biggest, probably biggest number sacrificing animal killing for religious reasons. Religious or basically, I think if you don't, if you are Hindu or something, if you don't sacrifice, then maybe the God or I don't know what, or they have not be happy, or then you will get problems, blah 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 blah. Basically, that's your own happiness. Maybe like that. I think basically coming down to yourself. This life to be, this life to be happy. No problems or sicknesses or something. I would think it might be like that coming down to yourself. Sort of like that, whatever name called, whatever name Shiva or whatever it is, but it's like that. So, in a past life, is a karma, such things. You're not checking. You see, Buddha said, I repeat again, the bhikshus, the learned ones, check my teaching well, like the gold by burning, by cutting, by rubbing, check well my teaching, then practice. It doesn't say, you don't question, don't ask questions, you must believe. It doesn't, never say that. Never say that. Probably, I think it might be only Buddha. Probably given freedom to check your teaching. Then check well, then practice. If you see that was well done, then practice. Not with blind faith. That's what Buddha said. You understand? No. That means it's logical. If it's illogical, you check. If you check, you find a mistake. If you check the problems, you find a mistake. So many questions. Full of questions. Then it's difficult. So don't to use your intelligence to ask questions, to check the religion that you follow. They're going to dedicate your life. You see? So Buddhist, that is a special quality. Special quality. I doubt, even there are thousands of religions, but I doubt such a, asking people, advising people to take my teachings. Don't follow blind faith. I think so anyway, due to past karma, mainly due to past karma, you'll at where you're born, country, and not just country, but society, or probably the family were born, the family involved that religion or something. So the thing is doing the many things. And so you don't examine, so you just follow this God to make God happy. So as I mentioned, to give the example a few days ago, we have one policeman outside called Ram. So he told us many years ago upstairs when the old Gomba, that the goat, before the sacrifice, they put water, so the goat does this, so that means it's okay. God saying it's okay to be sacrificed. So you believe like that. Can you imagine? So it's them. So it's them making God sacrifice, kill, make God happy or Shiva or whatever. So you see, spirits, samsara being who has discriminating thought, and samsara being who has entered the control of karma and delusion, who has a discriminating thought. So they would like, to sacrifice the animal for them, like the shamanisms they have. So sacrifice animal. So the ordinary beings. So the spirits, ordinary beings. So they desire these things, so like that. So they follow, they believe that I think they're God or whatever. So they follow. So in Kathmandu, different places, there are some places on Sunday or Saturday, so many goats and chickens killed, and besides the special day. Besides the special day, the chickens, they hold it with a knife and cut on the head. And so that's bring the blood. And then there's some places in Nepal, even normal, the special days, sacrifice so much. I heard the government killed 100,000 buffalo or cows or something, I'm not sure. They're all the ministers. I don't know what the Buddhists do, but ministers, the religion, Hinduism, they kill with a knife. They cut the head of the buffalo. So there's a competition. Who can cut stronger, who can cut well. So the competition, I heard. That big ground, big ground in Kathmandu there. I heard about that. So there, so it's all due to karma. So this life they're born like that and follow those religions and and they don't check, they don't examine, they don't check. And there may be also many high people they do, so then they also follow that, maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know, it's unbelievable. So it's not logical. So some of the people who, one example, ordinary people who like to be worshipped like that, then you believe that, and then you sacrifice similar. When the ordinary people who are not free from samsara, who enter the control karma delusion, samsara bring, who is got stuck in mud, delusion karma, samsara suffering, who is not free, stuck in mud, like mud, samsara suffering. So that they can't guide you, can't help you, can't free you from oceans of samsara suffering. No. So, like the person who is drowned in the ocean, taken by a river, or drowned in the ocean, can't help, can't save you from the river or from the ocean. So the other person is also drowned. So how can you can expect that they bring to help you, to rescue you from the ocean, now from the river? Can't. So that don't have power. So but the Dhamma Sangha has the power to free you from the delusion and karma, cause of the suffering, and from the root ignorance, and result the oceans of samsara suffering. You should be liberated forever. Not only that, then to be free from subtle obscurations and to achieve full enlightenment, to achieve the Sangye, total elimination of obscuration and completion of all the realizations. So much to study of the equality, Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So much subject to study the qualities. So it's not just a blind faith, none of that. So Buddha Dhamma Sangha, even you don't know the quality, but even blind faith, the object is unmistaken. The object is you see you are falling, you fall in the hole, in the fire, then send a rope to you, then the rope that you hold is unmistaken. It's unmistaken. If you don't know much about it, about power of the quality of that, so much explained in the philosophical texts, Abhisamana Garika, so those last chapters and the 8 chapters, last chapters, and the unbelievable, so much. So even the unbelievable, even the qualities of bodhisattvas who achieved the path of merit and preparation, path of preparation, those even their qualities is unbelievable. Even their qualities, and then no question about the exalted being, the right thing, who achieved the right thing path, wisdom, directly perceiving emptiness. Just even they call this unbelievable. So much study they call it the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So much to study. And not only study intellectually, but also you can mention, you can actualize. Your mind can become that. You can get that quality, called Dharma, called Sangha, called Buddha. You yourself can achieve that. All like that. So therefore, we should respect, yes, other religion, but I want to say that you are most fortunate this time. That you are most fortunate this time. I'm just about one time received human body, precious human body, and perfect human body especially. Just about one time. And you're You're most fortunate. So I want to express this. Amazingly fortunate, amazingly fortunate. Like dream. If you found dollars filled with the sky, is nothing. That can make you from the lower realms achieve higher birth, and can make you to be from oceans of samsara suffering and to achieve the state of omniscience. Can't. There are no can't. If you own sky full of diamond, sapphire, gold, nothing. That only can't do all these things. And even which are most rare than all those things, the wish granted jewel, that whatever you pray, after you found from the ocean, then you put on the banner on the 15th, then you pray anything you need for this life, any material needs, any comfort and material needs for this life, whatever you generate, whatever you pray, it happens immediately due to your unbelievable many causes, unbelievable merit you collected in the past. And then condition the jewel, and so. But just by having that, so even you have whole sky filled with the witch ground jewel, not only one, but numberless, filled up the whole sky. Even that much you own, that alone cannot make you free from the because doesn't purify past negative karmas, obscurations. So it cannot save you from the lower realm, the alone, and achieve higher birth and pure land can't do that, and they cannot achieve nirvana, the everlasting happiness, liberation from oceans of samsaras, oceans of human being suffering, oceans of hell being suffering, oceans of hungry ghost suffering, animal, sura, so forth. Can't. It cannot liberate you. It cannot liberate you. And there's no way to achieve. You can't generate compassion on the wish ground jewel. Doesn't have mind, doesn't have suffering, so you can't generate compassion. That so it cannot give enlightenment. So it cannot help. So this time you met Buddha Dharma, Buddha's teaching, Buddha Dharma. The dream it's like dream. Don't think it's like a trip, trip in India, trip in Nepal, Himalayan mountains, a trip in the Himalayan mountains, huge climb, Mount Everest, and the trip, part of the trip, don't think that. Kind of trip, nothing, not like that. This so precious, like hard to believe that it happened. Impossible thing that happened this time. I mentioned already in the past. So really, effort whether you are in the East, whether you are in the West, how you are to try to learn, try to meditate correctly, try to learn as much as possible. That's from general to learn, especially from qualified teachers, qualified teachers, qualified gurus, qualified gurus. And I want to say guru because teachers can be school teacher, college teacher, university, and general. I mean that's you see, teachers you learn different things and teachers. But I'm saying here guru. Specifically, I'm talking about guru, Lama guru. So that's who guides you to enlightenment, who preserve, who can teach, who guide you to enlightenment. Oh, that I'm talking about guru. That you can trust, devote, and who can guide you to enlightenment. So that specifically, I'm talking about that. So as much as possible to study Sutra and Tangsa. As much as possible, study and meditate as a practice. As I said, there are many people meditate many hours, meditate for many so many years, meditate, but in the case of karma, there's no practice avoiding negative karma, practicing good karma. In those very point of the Dharma practice, source of happiness of future lives, source of happiness, future life, source of happiness, ultimate happiness, liberation from samsara, source of happiness of full enlightenment. I mean, nothing. As a karma, as a avoiding negative karma, cause of suffering, cause of problems, and they're practicing source of other happiness. So that also can help not only for you, but also to be able to have other sentient beings. That is the very root, but that's nothing. There's nothing. You don't learn, and they don't learn. They have no understanding. They don't do any practice. So kind of like that. So meditation, but there's nothing. No benefit. I mean, no to develop the mind. Sometimes you lose. Mind becomes dull. Through meditation, mind becomes dull, lose intelligence. Instead of becoming more sharp, more realizing, become dull. So many people become like that. You have to know that. So depending on what you meditate, so if it's done not correct way, wrong way, then the result mind become more, without other shortcomings, even in this life, your mind becomes instead of sharp, instead of more enlightening, more awakening, then it becomes more dull, very forgetful, but it might be more dull. So that happens. So dangerous. You have to know correct meditation. If you don't know correct meditation, if you don't know what is meditation correct, if you don't know, very dangerous. You destroy your whole life. You waste your whole life, and then create cause samsara, create cause of all realms. If you don't know how to analyze meditation, if you if you don't learn Dharma, then you don't have wisdom to discriminate. You don't have wisdom to discriminate. Then destroys not only this life, all the future lives, and then because hundreds, thousands, 100,000, millions, whatever, you destroy. By destroying this life, you destroy so many future lives, meaningless, and you destroy your mind. We are mental continuum instead of developing, degenerating, and so difficult you make. Could be millions even, so on and on. Wow. So it causes that, it dangers that. So you have to know, you have to be very careful with this life. Just anything without examining, you have to examine. You have to examine. You can't just anything accept. You have to examine. You have to be careful with the life. The precious name in life, and especially precious name in birth, so short. We have only few years, few months, few weeks, few days. So I'm not sure. Even today die or tomorrow die. I'm not sure. In the world, so many people dying today. In the womb, outside, getting reborn, but dead, already dead. Alive in the mother's womb, but dead. Then born, dead. Born alive, but then dead. Baby time, the children are dying. Children are dying, old people dying, middle people dying. So today, even today in the world, so many people dying. You have to understand that. So it's not long. So that's so important, the awareness in the impermanence death, awareness, to remember this every day. Awareness that the death can happen. Even you can't think it today, but at least this year, this month, this week, something like that. At least should have like that appearance as that short appearance of this life, like that. Even this month might die. So, no, the best is not only tomorrow, even today, the death might happen even today. So that's the best. Before you eat lunch, death might happen before finishing the plate. Not eating the plate, not eating the plate, but the food, before finishing food in the plate. And you begin to drink tea, might finish it, might happen that before finishing tea in the market. So you go to Kathmandu, you may die before coming back. You go to sleep. And you might die in the middle of the night. You might die tomorrow with this corpse, become corpse. Your name has a corpse. The name is dead, not dead. Your name is joined with the dead tomorrow, by the time tomorrow. So it can happen at the time. You go to bathroom, and then no time to come out. So there happened to be several people died in bathroom. One student died, so Sunny, one student from Malaysia called Sunny. I don't know how many hours or days, maybe a long time, many hours, I don't know. She died in bathroom. So then another student, very good-hearted person, Mandana, Iran, she died in bathroom. So she slipped and died that. So, then there was somebody else. So several people died in bathroom. So so anyway, it's so important. So the most important. That's the most important. Then you see, if you have that awareness, remembrance, awareness, then every day, then your effort goes to Dharma. Whether you're in your room, you are outside, always goes toward Dharma, practicing Dharma. So even you are eating, it could become Dharma. Even you are sleeping, become Dharma. So you see, whatever action you do, not only meditation, but prayers, meditation, but even other activities become Dharma. So if your mind is continuously kept in the impairment, awareness, impermanence, death, reality of life, then Dharma practice, everything becomes Dharma without effort, naturally. So your life becomes Dharma. So your life and Dharma practice become equal. Life and Dharma become equal. So not so much you live long life, but so much wastage. Not only wastage, but your life is used to create negative karma so much, and then practice Dharma is a little, so not like that. So the awareness, impermanence, death, all the time. So if you remember impermanence in the morning, then become Dharma, the actions become Dharma in the morning. You remember impermanence in the afternoon, then your actions become Dharma. You remember impermanence in nighttime, then in nighttime actions become Dharma. So that's explained in the text. So also, and those who do the practice, it's like that. So it was, all the Buddha's teaching, Ganjur, more than 100 volumes, 200, more than 200 volumes, Ganjur, the Pandits, Yogis, the commentary, the Sutra and Tantra, true Buddha's teaching, more than 200 volumes. So even you know all that by heart, you can explain well, like professor or somebody. Professor universities. Even you can explain well. You can give lectures, you can explain well by heart. But if you don't think impairment, if you don't daily life, you don't remember you are dead. You ignore, you don't remember, then and no matter how you learn it, no matter how much you learn it, your actions doesn't become Dharma. Your actions, even you meditate, even you do prayer, even you do eating, walking, sitting, sleeping, doing a job, nothing becomes Dharma. So everything becomes work for this life, work for the attachment. Everything becomes service for the attachment to this life. So then everything becomes non-virtue. Everything becomes non-virtue. If you meditate, if you listen teaching, if you meditate, whatever you do, looking outside religious, but reality of the action becomes non-virtue. Looking outside virtue, Dharma, religion, something outside looking, but reality of the person's action all become non-virtue. If it's done for the become service for the attachment to this life. So, seeking reputation, powers, reputation, happiness in this life, especially reputation. Perhaps wearing, renouncing kind of attachment to the dress, food, may be a little bit easy, but renouncing it, reputation of this world, your life, reputation is very difficult. Reputation. So people praise you. People praise you over the good. What's that? Kind of famous, and kind of people look at you good, and so that's kind of difficult to renounce that attachment. So the person would do for that anything. Sure as ascetic, but not ascetic, but sure as ascetic for that. So the people praise, he's such a pure religious person, ascetic, blah 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 blah. So then you attach to that, and you act for that. And so as you are as a ascetic person, as a renounced attachment, but not renounced, but you sure like that. So to get the reputation, so things like that. So even with the Dharma, you know so much text by heart. You can explain, but yourself never think you are dead, hardly. And then you are then practicing Dharma doesn't happen. Yourself practicing Dharma, preparation for death doesn't happen. Practicing Dharma doesn't happen. So that's a great danger. And then the great danger, no question, person who hasn't met Dharma, they had so much knowledge of science, so much knowledge of this and that, university degrees, so famous and this and that. Hasn't met Dharma. Basic things hasn't met Dharma, so don't understand Dharma. But great knowledge, so much degree and this and that, but nothing, person's action, nothing becomes Dharma. Because you don't think awareness, impairment, awareness, your own death, you don't think. So, impairment is the reality of the life. Don't think, forget, even, put off and don't think, and so only we think only happiness in this life. So nothing becomes. So from morning until so they're dressing, washing, breakfast, doing job, eating lunch, dinner, sleeping, the whole thing then done for this life, happiness, and all of that. Not even future life happiness. And everything became non-virtue, done with the attachment to life. So, it's purely non-virtue, cause of Lord. So, that's it. Until death comes, until one day, sooner or later, one day, death comes. Finish. And that time, there's nothing to show that helps at the dead time. No matter how much scientific education, degrees, and so many education, when you die, there's nothing to show can benefit at death. It can benefit your mind, can benefit your rebirth, can benefit your mind, bring peace, happiness, to stop to become the death, and go to Pure Land or receive perpetual rebirth or even pressure the human body. Just as believe the lower realm. Those all since from birth, since from beginningless rebirth, since from birth, have my Dharma, that's my Dharma. So even so famous, so many degrees, so many, but nothing become good karma. All non-virtue. All non-virtue. How many years you live? Even you lived 100 years, more than 100 years, nothing special. Nothing becomes non-virtue. All the cause of law, you are eating food, you are sleeping, you are everything. So whatever you do, everything, job, nothing special. Cause of law, so like that. This is very sad. So the person doesn't know this. Person completely blank, completely dark, like dark room without light. Like outside, no star, no sun, no moon, no star, gloomy, fogginess, dark. In the patient, fogginess, dark, all like that. Or dark room without light, nothing. All things like that. Towards Dharma. So nothing knows nothing about life. Life after this. So it's very sad. So very, very sad. So very sad. Very sad. So object of compassion. All those people in the world are people, sentient beings in the world, and animals, hungry ghosts, other animals, other human beings, all human, poor, rich, whatever, all object of compassion. Unbelievable. Most amazing object of compassion. Can't stand. You can't stand. After meeting Dharma, after learning Dharma, after meeting, even just Lamrim, you can't stand. You can't stand the world people. Even there's just one universe. There's world people. How much they suffer. How much ignorant they are. How much suffer. How much they desire happiness, do not desire suffering, but their action, completely non-virtuous, negative karma. Completely live the life of that. No matter how much education others have, but since they happen with Dharma, do not know Dharma, so it's like that. So sad. So sad. Really the object of compassion. So really you can't you can't wait. So then, at least you have to pray for them. So when I do dedication, we pray for the world people. That's so important, unbelievably important. Generate bodhicitta and all the happiness. So important. So after you met Dharma, after you learn even just Lamrim a little bit, then you can see how world is suffering. That you don't see, you see suffering but different. It's very little suffering, what you see. But after meeting Allah, knowing a little bit Lamrim, then you see suffering of the sentient beings. And just even the people in this world, without thinking of the animals, Lord, just human beings. Wow, 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 wow. So ignorant, so ignorant, so ignorant. Totally wrong, their actions. Or the desired happiness, do not do the suffering, but to the actions. Totally. So that, so therefore, it is so important. Not only you learn Dharma, awaken your mind from this ignorant sleep, from the beginningless rebirth. Awaken, enlighten, awaken. More you learn, more you meditate. Especially, best learning is through meditation. Then you see. With your mind you see. Before just intellectually. Learning words mean. But now, through meditation, your mind actually see is your experience. Like experiencing the impairment, the renunciation, Bodhicitta, the emptiness of the Sutra. The best learning is through meditation. So of course, to meditate first you have to learn the words, meanings. So teacher, qualified teacher, you have to find a qualified teacher, guru, explain. So like that. So then you see, more you gain the experience, correct understanding Dharma, more you can experience, then you can help others more and more. More you learn, especially through meditation experience, then you can help others. You can awaken others from the sleep, from the ignorant sleep, from not only this, from birth, from beginningless rebirth. So you can help others more and more. Deeper and deeper. So without learning Dharma, it's all it's kind of the kind of you can teach many other things, but the real benefit, which can help at death time, which can help in the future life, which can help liberation from something, which can help through full enlightenment. Only Dharma, nothing else. Which can help deep the mind to clear away the ignorance, anger, attachment, so forth, and the self-cherishing thought, so forth. Then root the ignorance. So Dharma. So you can see. So therefore now you can see. So important to help others. So I have to chant. I have to do long chanting, thoroughly going and understand better. So you can see how so urgent to help the human beings in this world that we see. So important. You learn and help others. Awaken others from suffering. From ignorant sleep, and awaken from oceans of suffering. Free them. You help them. Free from oceans of suffering. to Dharma by giving wisdom eye. Dharma wisdom eye. So most important. So that's why Dharma centers in the West. In the West is, especially in the West, was so essential, so essential, important place to people to learn Dharma, meditation, and correctly learn and teacher, qualified teacher, correct teaching, qualified teacher, guru, correctly, who has correct education, correct knowledge, Dharma, and teach correctly. Of course, it depends on level of mind of others. You have to teach according to that. Like Lama Yeshi, according to the mind of the person. So then you can help, then you can bring deeper. More profound. So you can do that. Then so Dharma center, retreat center where they can do practice and experience a path. So important. Unbelievable important. Really important. I thought I must end this. I must end this talk yesterday also. This prayer and good talk. So you see, Dhamma Center, the meditation hour, this Lamrim Center, basic teachings, Lamrim, even though there's philosophical teachings taught, extensive teachings, but essence is Lamrim. So in the retreat place, the essence is that, actualized. And then the center is that. So, so the essence of the Buddhism, that is essence of Buddhism, especially mind Buddhism. So also compassion towards others, towards sentient beings. Not like this. Compassion only for the human being, but pigs and goats, animals to eat, fish to eat for the human being, us to eat only the human beings, poor people, on compassion only for the poor people, something like that. Compassion to every living being. As I mentioned, even the insects, you can't see with eye, but only with the machines, including that. Not without living even one insect. So the that's the essence of the Buddhism. Especially Mahayana Buddhism, and so therefore you see peace in the world and your own peace dependent on compassion. So this retreat center or meditation center, this is what the basic things taught. So that brings peace. That really brings peace to everyone, to every sentient being. Not only this world, No, no. The numberless universe, scientifically mentioned, Buddha has mentioned. So, so even yourself, the world, generally 6 realms sentient beings, but this world, and even your own peace. You see, ultimate compassion, the one answer of compassion. So, that also depends on the, comes with the Dharma wisdom. Comes with the Dharma wisdom. So that's. So you can see. So you can see importance as everything to practice, to talk, not only talk, but talk is also so beneficial, so necessary. Then practice. So like that, importance, how this retreats and how this meditation, how this monastery, all the beneficial to 6 realms in the especially this world, especially yourself, like that. So everything is the whole entire thing is Buddha Dharma is whole thing comes and you see. Katama Geshe, I don't remember Katama Geshe. One Katama Geshe explained, Katama Geshe Jengwa or Jengawa, I'm not sure. So Lama Tisha disciple and then they disciple all the Katama Geshe. The whole entire Buddhism is to not, whole entire Buddhism is to benefit for sentient beings. Whole entire Buddhism is to benefit the numberless sentient beings. Then on the basis of that is not harm others. Basis. If you cannot do that, if you cannot do that, then you can't benefit other sentient beings. So benefit other sentient beings. Then for that, then you see you basically to not harm other sentient beings. So at least if you can't benefit, you not harm other sentient beings. That's the basic thing. So the Buddha has taught. So generally 84,000 teachings, and then it comes in 3 levels. Hinayana teaching, which contains basic subject, 4 noble truths, to achieve to be free from oceans of suffering of samsara, the cause, delusion, karma. So but there's no enlightenment. Then there's a Mahayana Sutra, Paramedhyana teachings. The one can achieve, which is a greater method to achieve enlightenment, full enlightenment for sentient beings. Benefit sentient and free them from oceans of samsara suffering and bring them to full enlightenment. by collecting merits, wisdom, merits, virtue for 3 countless great eons. Why it takes time is, so the to the cause of Dharmakaya and Rupakaya. Dharmakaya that merits wisdom, Rupakaya that merits virtue. To finish collecting all that merit in the sutra, the Paramedana takes minor sutra takes for 3 countless great eons. It takes a long time. Then you can achieve enlightenment after completing that. Then because it's taken so long, so you have unbelievable compassion to the sentient beings. So you practice Tantra, so you can stand. So you practice Buddha has taught Tantra. Tantra is K Tantra, Jai Tantra, Anjara, Maha Tantra. So the Buddha has revealed Tantra, then Lower Tantra, for example. And then you can, it has a higher, greater, more skillful method. So because of that, then you can achieve full enlightenment. You can complete the collecting the merits of wisdom, merits of virtue, called Dharmakaya, Rupakaya, in one life. So you can achieve enlightenment in one life for sentient beings. Then Kuka, you can free them from oceans of samsara suffering and bring them to enlightenment. Kuka, like that. So main reason is the great compassion. Why you need to practice Tantra is because of great compassion, ample compassion to the sentient beings. And then that you see, you achieve long life, and then you live many hundreds of years, 1,000 years, then you achieve enlightenment in the Lower Tantra. So even so much great compassion for sentient beings to free them from oceans of samsara suffering and bring them into full enlightenment. So there's even much greater compassion. So you don't, you can't stand, sentient beings suffering, unbelievable, numberless sentient beings suffering. So then practice highest Tantra. Then that has a most skillful method, and also wisdom, most skillful method. So nothing changes, emptiness, the same. But the wisdom, but the mind. So there's a gross mind, subtle mind, external subtle mind. So external subtle mind, knowing realizing the emptiness. So the especially actualize that, clear light. So the Surachu said, clear light, transcendental wisdom of great bliss of non-duality emptiness. So, so great experience. So the wisdom, so like that. So that's the method. And so if you actualize, if you are able to actualize in this life, then you become enlightened in this life. If you actualize that, then you are the person who achieve enlightenment in the brief lifetime or degenerate time. So you are the person who can achieve enlightenment in a brief lifetime or degenerate time. So it's been that. Then free the numberless sentient beings from oceans of samsara suffering. Kuka brings them to enlightenment. Kuka, so like that. So all those three levels of teachings, Buddha, so content in the Lamrim, in the gradual path to enlightenment, and so all that teaching is contained in these two words: to not harm and benefit other sentient beings. So all the teaching Buddha contained in these two words: not harm, benefit others. So not harm, it contains the Hinayana teachings. So in the Lamrim, the gradual path of the lower capable being Jiva Chunga Lamjirimba. The Jiva Jinga Lamjirimba, the gradual path of the middle capable being. All those two are contained in this. And to not harm other sentient beings. So benefit for sentient being, on that contains the gradual part of the higher capable being, or Lamrim, gradual part of the higher capable being, or contained in the title, benefiting other sentient beings. So to not harm, to benefit others, it's kind of sounding very easy, but of course you do whatever you can, you can level your mind. Then as you level mind through listening, teaching, reflecting, meditation, through that, as your mind, actualize, gradual path, lower capable, middle capable, high capable. So, within that there's so many realizations of meditation. So, gradual, this great compassion to a sentient being, the seven things, one cause, effect, and the exchange, equalize oneself, rejection, oneself, so on. Bodhicitta, then, the five-part temple means in the Minor Sutra to achieve enlightenment, whatever. So contains benefit others, and they include Tantra teachings. Not to harm others and benefit sentient beings. Yes, it's simple the words, but within that, so many levels. So you. So much to learn. Also for example, the monks, nowadays also the nuns, and also in the monastery, whole life studying in the monastery, philosophy, Sutta, Tantra, debate, all that, all that is within these two, not harm others, then benefit others. All are included in these two. So that's the basic thing. So very extensive to not harm others, very extensive to benefit others. So much extensive. Wow. So much to learn there. So what I'm saying is, according to the level of your mind, then you see as you go higher and higher, or actualize path, then you go deeper and deeper benefit to others. It's amazing. So even you actualize beginning part of marriage, part of preparation, and so much qualities you achieve. Wow. So that. What is saying? So you understand. Basic thing is that Buddhism is this. So the kaza. So sorry. His Holiness often used to say the essence of Buddhism is Tawatendil. Tawatendil to Java Chawamicheva. Tawatendil, the view, right view. The right view of the Buddhism is a dependent arising, not Tibetan arising. Not Tibetan arising. Dependent arising. Many years ago, I spoke in the Chinese Gomba. We did a course, and I spoke 3 days about dependent arising. So there's one old lady from England. There's an old lady from England. Member of the London Jamaican Center. Her English is very. Her English is her language almost like singing. When she speaks, there's so much tune. It has so much tune. For a slowly speaking, it has so much tune. But I spoke 3 days dependent because I spoke fast. So so it sounded to her Tibetan rice for 3 days. So fortunately, she asked one monk, Namjal. His name is Namjal. So fortunately she asked, but she didn't ask. Then she thought, I spoke Tibetan rice for 3 days. So anyway. So she asked Namjal, and Namjal said, not Tibetan rice, is dependent arising. Because I spoke fast, so didn't pay attention to my words. I spoke fast, and so that's the trouble. Now, now Annie Jane, she can do this. So you don't have much trouble with my not understanding my English term, sound. So this helps very much. So she has been doing this time travel together, and she did in the center. I did teachings, and those past years. So that's highly appreciate to her and Jen, her special capacity. So people don't waste time and also misunderstand, so the Taoist and the right view, Buddhism is a dependent arising. So, no, because of that, then right view of Buddhism, right view of the Buddhism is the, so it's that everything what exists is empty. Everything what exists is empty from its own side. So do not have true existence. Do not have real. Even though, even though due to ignorance appeared real to us, ordinary beings, to us or sentient beings, but it is not. It's a hallucination. Hallucination. As I gave an example yesterday, how we should meditate. I gave an example yesterday. So dependent arising. Not only gross dependent arising, dependent cause condition, but everything exists. Everything exists in the mere name, merely labeled by the mind. So there's a valid base. So therefore the valid name exists. So that is merely labeled by the mind, depending on relating to that, relating to the valid base. The valid base also merely labeled by the mind, relating to that name is given to another valid base. So totally. So things are not empty, do not nihilism, do not exist. Not that, but they're empty of what doesn't exist. The truth existence, existing real, which means from its own side. So then because of that, so because of that, then you see suffering, because that suffering, happiness exists. Through harm, suffering, through benefit, happiness. So, happiness. So therefore, to not harm to the other sentient being, to not harm, to benefit. So to benefit, then to be able to benefit others, then you have to stop giving harm to them. So conduct is to not harm other sentient beings. What Buddhism is, essence is that. His own often explains. So all that. And I want to say this, by the way. So helping people, it's so essential, so important. So now yourself has human rebirth, so can help the other people, other sentients. Your mother, your kind mother, source of all your past, present, future happiness. Understand that? Source of all your past, present, future happiness from whom you receive all the past, present, future. So you see, so therefore, while you have a human body, you must help. If this is gone, that's it. They can't help to others. So therefore, don't be lazy. Don't waste your life. You must learn Dharma, practice, try to have realization, to develop your mind, to be able to help others. Do it now. Do it now. So, you can't delay on next year, or when always when the problem is gone, then I will do retreat, or when the problem is gone, you have many problems about relationship, this and that, so when the problem is gone, then I will do retreat, then I will learn Dharma. I have one brother called, his name is called Bemba. So in France, many years ago, I was giving mala to him to recite Om Mani Padme Hum. He said, when I become old, then I recite Om Mani Padme Hum. He said, in France. It was many years ago. So I was giving mala to recite Om Mani Padme Hum. So he said, when I become very old, then he will recite Om Mani Padme Hum. So that's so anyway, so hurry up. So do not be lazy, to not waste life in many meaningless things also of this life, and do not be lazy. So much. They purify the defilements. The defilements, negative karma, obstacles, and they collect the necessary condition marriage. Then as the one pointedly requests the Guru. One pointedly request the Guru then to receive blessing to your mind. Then through this helps, then for the meditate on the path to enlightenment, study, meditate on the path. So then you can actualize through transformation mind. You receive blessing of Guru in the heart, then mind is able to change. Mind which is like concept, which is like harder than Rocky Mountain or iron, like the rocks, like the hard rocks that is in the ocean for hundreds of years, but it's still very hard. Also, mind has been like that. All them become soft. You can change in the path, transform in the path to enlightenment. So that's so that's what Lama Zopa asked to Manjushri. How to quickly actualize the path to enlightenment. The Manjushri explained, then they purify the obstacles for realization. The Drutas so such as normal like Vajrasattva practice. So there's many practice of purification. Yes, 35 Buddha, the Lama Tsongkhapa life story, he did 700,000 prostration with 35 Buddha. So then the rainfalls realizations happened after that. Oh, there's not so much a story about Vajrasattva there, but it's common in all the sects, Satyaka Nyingma. Was a well-known practice, Vajrasattva for purification. But 35 Buddha, so powerful, even you can recite once a day, is so good. From so many eons of different negative karmas get purified. Because by reciting once the name, so many different negative karmas collected from beginner's life. And there were so many eons of negative karma, different negative karma get purified. All like that. So powerful. Then Tisha Medabala Chatu, procession to the glorified flower, that Buddha then 100,000 eons of negative karma get purified. Then I mentioned the other day, the Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the Tisha Medabala Banjawa Shekatawala Chastro, then Umane Mamone Soha. Oh, then I mentioned Kasure. Yes, 80 billion eons of negative karma is purified. If it is at one time, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Tejin Shavada, Chomba Yang, Tabazo, Panjawa Shia Tawala Chat, Tata, Umane Mamane Swa. So that's Shishin Yugunyumu, the few syllables of Paras and Parameter. So 80 billions of eons of negative karma is purified. It is mentioned in the Kanjuru. So that, so Chakri Chempo, Jeju. Oh, that's bad. That. Oh, yeah. Oh, like that. So, Tattva Buddha is so powerful. So, at least one time a day, even that's unbelievable. But if one can, morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening or night, 3 times. There with the hands, or if you can do prostration, best, but if not, hand with the prostration. And you can do the visualization, numberless of your body, cover the whole earth and doing prostration to the Tattva Buddha. Or the whole Lama Zopa meditative field, the Tattva Buddha is there. So, but at least recite, and then with the hands, you do mudra prostration. And then, especially if you can visualize numberless your body during prostration, you get the same merit having done the actual body did prostration. You get the same benefit. You get the same benefit. Oh, they should know that. So this is what Lama Tsongkhapa explained. Lama Tsongkhapa explained the extensive way to collect merit by doing prostration is then you visualize numberless of your body, cover the whole ground, 4 direction corners during prostration. Oh, like that. And even you can visualize, even actual physical body can't do prostration or no space. Yeah, so the Kasavane, since I'm talking this, not only that, then there's many, of course, there are many mantras. Then the Kaza, the working for sentient beings. working for sentient beings, with a good heart. All those are great purification, especially the hardships. You are bearing hardships, doing hard works for sentient beings, or doing that with a good heart, benefit others, free others from problem, bring happiness to others. And with a good heart, especially hard works, hardships, bring hardships, working for others. All those are great purification. Great purification. And then also, being hardships, working for Sangha, monastery, and working for Sangha, all those great purification. And then, the most powerful one is also working for the Guru, and then whether you are close by, or whether you are with Guru, or whether you are far, living far, however, then service. That is the most powerful purification. Most powerful purification. Most powerful. All those are most powerful. This is most powerful purification, because this is first, the parents of this life, very powerful to create an example, but also if you serve them, then you collect unbelievable, most unbelievable merits serving the parents. And then the ordained person, more powerful than that. And then, the Arahatas. Then numberless Arahatas, one Bodhisattva, serving one Bodhisattva, is much more the powerful purification, also collecting merits, most powerful. So if to one Bodhisattva, so if you get with the calm mind, with the calm mind, or the devotion or calm mind, you look at the Bodhisattva, then the karma is like you have given the eye, to the three realm, desire realm, formless realm, sentient beings. You gave eye for them, like that much merit you get. If you look at the one Bodhisattva with a calm mind. So if you look at the Bodhisattva with the peering eye, with the negative looking, peering eye, glaring eye, to one Bodhisattva, then it's like three desire realm, formless realm, sentient means eye, taken out, like that. So heavy, the Nigrama is so heavy. So because of bodhicitta. So then Buddha, numberless Bodhisattva, then one Buddha, or then one Buddha, or then if you create the grammar, this the mind, create the grammar, then so unbelievable. Even Bodhisattva like this, then wow, so heavy. So, and then they marriage, even small offering or service, small. So unbelievable marriage you collect. Then after that, then Guru. After that, then comes Guru. So therefore, even small, even even you offer one glass of water, something like that to the Guru, then then you collect much more merit, unbelievable merit, the heavy merit offering to numberless Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, numberless statues, stupa, sculpture, Buddha. Or then much more than that merit collected if you offer one glass of water to Guru, for example, like that. So all others become small. Numberless offering to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, numberless offering to statues, stupa, sculpture, numberless. That becomes small. This offering one glass of water to Guru become so huge, all like that. So similar Nigirkama, then created with Guru also, so unbelievable, more unbelievable heavy. So therefore, so as far as purifying, also like this, collecting good karma, it's unbelievable. So most is like that. Most is like that. The unbelievable. On dinner, so then, one point requesting Guru to his blessing, to explain to one's heart. Then fourth one maintain on the path. Then the mastery, achieve realization, the path to enlightenment. So Madhushi, the basic. He outlined the Vendishri, explained to Lama Tsongkhapa how to quickly actualize realization. So now the other thing is, so I said, don't waste life, not only wasting meaningless, but using the whole life to create negative karma, cause erosion for you. Cause suffering for yourself. Also then harm to other sentient beings. But so that to not be lazy, in the Dharma practice, that so life is very short. The precious emerald, perfect emerald, so short. Then also the other sentient beings, the human beings. There's not a human rebirth all the time. This is just about one time. They have a human body. And this can be ended any time. This can be ended this year, this month, this week, any time. So now is the right time to help them. Now is the right time to help them. Best time to help them. They can understand, they can learn. But once they're born animal, you can only what you can do is the second one bullet and chant mantra, they can hear, so like that. Or there's no way to explain, no way they can understand. So so I'm supposed to stop here. The Kasa. So, yeah, just finish this one. Basis I've already explained, how everything comes from the mind. Mind is the creator. Mind is the creator. And how you are samsara, you are nirvana, you are hell, you are enlightenment come from your mind. And best, even including everyday life, peace and happiness, everyday life, happiness and problem, and day to day, and even the hour to hour, happiness, problem come from your mind. Your happiness, hour to hour, your happiness, problem, hour to hour come from your mind, the way of thinking. So so I gave the example also by explaining letter A. So how that seeing that is A came from your mind, how it came from your mind. So to understand how the rest of phenomena, you see, came from what you say. So senses and six senses, and then form, sound, smell, taste, tangible objects of Dharma. So all that came from your mind. I explained that. So you can understand from that example. And I said to meditate while sitting meditation, but also walking meditation. How everything came from your mind. I told that. I don't know whether you have done or not. That's so important. Basic, very basic. Very basic. Important discovery in our life. Different from the West. So it's our experience that so you see, so going back childhood time, so your parents or somebody else taught you, introduced to you, write on blackboard like this, line like this. So then when you see that, you see the line, but you don't see that this is A until you are told, introduced. So that makes that clear. Then one teacher, school teacher or parent or somebody teach you, introduce you, that is A. Then by following that, believing that, then your mind merely impute A. Then your mind merely impute A. Relating to that base, relating to their base. So, so next second, it should appear back. It should appear back. The A should appear back to you, merely labeled by the mind, by your mind. But it doesn't happen. That's the reality, how the A is existing for you. But second time, next second, when it appears back to you, after your mind merely inputted, it appears back to you. But it doesn't appear back to you merely labeled by mind. It appears back to you existing from its own side. Existing by its nature, truly existent. And with the ordinary language, what we use, real. Real means existing from its own side. So that hallucination, so merely if it's at the edge appears merely labeled by mind, that's correct. That's what happened. That's correct. But now the way it appears, total opposite. False. Total opposite to the reality. So that total hallucination. That's complete hallucination. So, like the how I appear, like the, when the eye appears to you, real eye, or real eye gets real body, real mind. So now here, as I mentioned the other day also, real light from its own side, real tanga from its own side, real colors, real yellow, the broadcast from its side, real carpet from its side, real table from its own side. So the real broadcast is from its own side. I see you from its own side, you see me from its own side. Real one from there, from its own side, existing from its own side. So you look at the sky, existing from its side, trees existing from its own side, a road existing from its own side, food existing from its side, cheese existing from its side. So everything is a total hallucination, like dream. True hallucination. So this is how we are living our life. This is how we are living the life. Since not only from this morning, since from birth, from beginningless birth. So believing in this, that's the foundation of our suffering. Believing this is real, that's the foundation of our suffering. The wrong concept. It's wrong view. Wrong concept. So, you see, you go to the supermarket, so they makeup thing. There's the hundreds, 200s, so many makeup things to sell. So all whichever look at is real one from its own side. It's all hallucination. It's all hallucination. Wherever you look at, everything appears real. So you go to clothing section, all the clothing, older man, young man, all the clothing, again, real clothing, real cloth existing from its own side, again hallucination, total hallucination. We buy, as I said before, there's a real eye, which is not there. Give him real money, which is not there. The real person which is not there. Buy real clothing which is not there. So, like that. So, anything we go to supermarket, other one department store. Now the supermarket, food, cheese, America, cheese. You have 30, 40 cheese. So all this looks real, one from its own side. So all this is a hallucination. All this is a hallucination. So department store, supermarket. So wherever you look at potatoes, onions, tomatoes. So where you look, it's all real from its own side. So hallucination. Not appear to me labeled. As reality is me labeled, but that appearance doesn't happen. So all total hallucination. So real car, real house, real bed, real from its own side. So real parents, real mother, father, real children. So the whole thing. So whole life we're living hallucination. In the hallucination. So there, so so that's why I said mindfulness meditation need. So other look at it, you are empty and you are action empty and object. Whatever doing, cooking, buying, whatever you empty. Either that. Or you action object or are merely labeled by the mind, dependent arising. So mindfulness in this. Even you're going for pee or you're going around the stupa or whatever, walk on the road, what. So you action object or merely labeled by the mind. Existing may name. Maintain that, mindfulness in that. Or you meditate, as I said, look at the dream, while you're dreaming, look at the dream as dream, all like that. So, mirage, you are seeing mirage, you came from that beach or the sand. Oh, you know there's no water at all. Then when you look it back, you have vision of water. But you know there's no water at all, but the sunlight. So you have vision of water. So then you look at it, as a mirage. Not believe water, but you look at the mirage. As a mirage, you look at the mirage as a mirage. Oh, like that. So like that, now all these are hallucination. Your awareness, practice mindfulness, all these are hallucination. Yourself, real I, real action, real road, whatever it is, whatever it is. Constantly practice mindfulness as a mindfulness while you're busy. While you're busy in the office, writing, talking, having meeting, whatever you do, but part of your mind, meditating all the time, meditating as much as possible, part of your mind during the work, talking, writing, whatever you do, then part of your mind continuously be aware your life. So, then that's incredible. that really, then your life is very, then very satisfied, very worthwhile your life. See, yourself benefiting sentient being, and to achieve enlightenment, and some free from oceans of samsara suffering first, that, and the enlightenment also was incredible. See, then great satisfaction, happiness in your heart. So the great scenery, great scenery in your life. So that's incredible, unbelievable. So great scenery. So even you're going to market, you're going to Kathmandu or in the West or something, same. So even go shopping or tourist pilgrimage or tourist, the same. So meditation. So that kind of, you're going for pilgrimage like that with the meditation like that. It's, wow, it's best pilgrimage, the best tourist. If you are touring like that with the meditation, wow, it's best tourist. It's the most meaningful tourist. Was the most meaningful tourist. Very good. The Dharma practice. Oh, that's fantastic. Then of course other things, bodhicitta, wow. All of that. So I don't mention that. So the Kasa, so good. So look at the mindfulness, watching at scenery, or movie scenery, best movie scenery, best movie because that time doesn't make to rise attachment, anger, all those delusions, 5 delusions. Right? So best movie, best TV, best movie in your life, emptiness. Yeah. So then makes to be free from samsara ocean, so samsara suffering, all the sufferings. And then that's done with the bodhicitta, bodhicitta done with the bodhicitta motivation, then enlightenment. So that's so anyway. So the real A. Now you see. So how it happened, you have to know that. So past ignorance, holding true existence, that left a negative imprint on the mind. So that negative imprint left the mind. So it reflected right after your mind made imputed. Your negative imprint led by the ignorance reflected, projected it. You see, made it real. Projected it as real. So it's come for ignorance. What you see, everything real. Came for ignorance, not wisdom. Came from ignorance. I want to emphasize that. Make sure don't make mistakes. Holy shit is not came from wisdom, came from ignorance. So not that. So you see. And then you practice mindfulness in this also. So all come from your mind. Their ignorance. All this real thing come from your ignorance. You understand? While you are busy, while you're busy walking, cleaning, whatever you're doing, busy, so busy, but part of your mind, practice mindfulness as the meditation, emptiness. Oh, so that you can do also with bodhicitta, but anyway, now it's talking about emptiness. So like that, temporary ignorance, so you can do mindfulness in that. Wherever you're going to Kathmandu, you're going to the mountains, tourist, or what, pilgrimage, or whatever, you're going to the beach, or whatever. But part of your mind meditating this. You are with the people talking, hello, this, but part of your mind meditating. You see? So it's fantastic. You are in the Lama meditation, wherever you go. Wherever you go. So it's like that. So it's fantastic. Fantastic. So your mind is the renunciation, the bodhicitta, the emptiness, wow. Bodhicitta, emptiness, wow. There's so many people, your life, so many people brings it real inner happiness. Brings inner happiness. Wow. Happiness like sky, So anyway, so now, what is it? So now you see, what is A? What is A? So what is A? So this is not A, this is not A, this is not A. If you're all together, it's not A. If you're all together, it's not A. The basis to be labeled A. Basis to be labeled A is not A. That's the base to be labeled A. And A is what is labeled on that, relating to that. So I have to understand, I have to recognize what is the base to be labeled, and what is labeled takcha. Two different phenomena. Don't exist, they exist differently, but not exist separately. You have to understand that. So even the whole group is the base, not A, is base to be labeled A. You remember, first you saw this, then on the childhood time, then like this, you see the base, but not A. This is A. No, you didn't see this is A that time, until you are introduced. So remember that. So this is not A, that is not A, this is not A, even all together is not A. Then you see, so with the basis to be labeled A, after that, to be labeled A, and A is what is to be labeled, relating to that. So you see, now big mistake. This is A. Base is A. So then, if the base is A, then you have to label A on the A, on the A, on the A, A on the A, numberless. If the aggregate is I, then you have to label I on the I, on the I, on the I. This is numberless. This was mentioned in text. So you see that you have to understand the differences. So how's that? So you see, so that A appearing from there, you see? So even not only coming from, I mentioned coming from ignorance, yes, but also by checking there, this is not A, this is not A, this is not A, even altogether it's not A. It's base. It's the base to be labeled A. So that's not A, see? So it proves your view, A from its own side, appearing real A, truly existing A, existing from its side, really just totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's a hallucination. It proves that. You understand? So like that, all the rest of appearance, I, action, object, everything appears real. Oh, how wrong, hallucination. To understand. So we have to. By realizing, emptiness, so they see. Then eliminated ignorance, and then through that, then achieve great insight, on the basis of Shine, 9 levels, which are 9 categories, and achieving Shine, then you on the basis of the realization, then you maintain emptiness, do analysis, meditation, then you experience the rapturous ecstasy of the body and mind, rapturous ecstasy of the body and mind, and then the great insight you actualize. Then by developing that, then you actualize wisdom, directly perceptions, and then with that, then only with that, directly you see the seed of delusion karma. And through that, you're able to, as you remove the cause of suffering, and then you remove the oceans of samsara suffering. Then you achieve a liberation from oceans or some nirvana. Only with the bodhicitta, you exercise mind apart, then you achieve full enlightenment, post-sentient beings. So, maybe I'll stop here. Maybe that's enough. Thank you very much. I think maybe that's... So I do the lung. So first I do the lung. I don't remember 100% whether I got the lineage of the lung or not, this one. But it's a really important prayer to do, or mantra that. So important. But I don't remember the lineage. perhaps received room from maybe Chongla Rinpoche, Tapsi Chongla Rinpoche, or Kidde Senshi Rinpoche, gurus. That I don't remember. But you can recite this. So in the case I received, I just read it in the so. Jagarkido Ayapar Daksha Rana Traya Namantarani Pegute Power Conjugate Coachabi Sumushi Chawas. The second mantra to second holy object of precious, sublime, precious or sublime Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Purpose Arya exalted. Then the mantra to recite, the name to recite, the same. That's it. Now after that, Om Namo Dasitika Trikala Savaranataya Namapatasha Subatasha Savapapam Visitani Soha Namo Dasitika Trikala Savaranataya Tayaya Namapatasha Subatasha Savapapam Visitani Swaha. So if you recite this mantra one time, it becomes circumambulated prostration to the three rare similar ones, Buddha Dhamma Sangha, of the three times, the past, present, future Buddha, of 10 directions. So by reciting this mantra one time, you get circumambulated all the holy objects. And Buddha Dhamma Sangha of 10 directions. 10 directions. This one universe, so the numberless universe. All the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. The 10 directions, not only existing now, but all the past, present, future. So the range so having done process to all the knowledge and second one, you get the benefit if you start the mantra one time. Then second, it purifies negative karma collected from beginningless rebirth. Get purified. The second benefit. Third, you quickly achieve enlightenment. Then fourth, you don't get harm from the enemy, interferers. Not only people, but even spirits. Even spirits, non-human beings. Non-human beings. Spirit possession. And that you don't receive harm. So there's also good So you are sick. If you are sick, also it helps to heal, because it makes they cannot harm to you. also then purify past negative karma. So the cause of sickness get purified. So it becomes healing. Then fifth, you get liberated from all the disease and spirit harm. All the disease and the spirit harm. So the five, so that I don't remember, that I got the room of this, maybe I didn't write down, but I wrote down, received room. So there's five very important benefits. It's so important. So, then this one, when you do prostration, or circumambulation, if you do this mantra at the beginning, then the circumambulation or prostration becomes 1,000,000. Yeah. If you do one circumambulation becomes 1,000,000. If you recite this mantra at the beginning, name a mantra. Chum den de jaba jam bayang dava zobe sanje rinji jantela rinchin jantela chatalo. The main thing is rinji yatsu name. Namo Bhagavate Ranakutura Tathagate Arahate Samyak Sambudaya Dayato Omarane Maharane Ranambidaya Soha. Yeah. So I go to this one I good. I remember a good room for Jab Chong Rinpoche. The benefits of the Buddha's mantra. There's a Kanjur. Shijin Yunyu, the few syllables are present. There's a 12 volume, then 3 volume Niti, then the 8,000 Jetongba, then short on Art Sutra, condensed of all that. Then shorter than that, this mantra, that Lama Zopa Rinpoche, this one, that so the benefits of that. Jarakitu Arya Salaba Chara Parja Paramita Namo Sudapagata Pashira Pachama Ikinyusha Pachamata Sangatam Jitamatam Java Chatura Dekata Otapatu Jave Kamana Chakapum Regalon Chini Tanga Chikalan Gata Jusamacha Matam Chesamadan Jama Sava Chivata Munda Yanzuko Jay Depending with secretary shows and edges Samazamazam Bajan Lagata Ponya Lazula just Tundakalawate Tamajon Zumunde Tundra the Cages no. Chunde Shire Polism Yiginyu, Lesson Majo, Counter was a negative Anjuranga Shua Sakanda, Duvat over to the Kama Java, San Doja, so generously commission Alugan one, stand, stood up, and kneel down the right side on the floor, and then request Buddha with the palms together, Buddha. With the smiling face, told the Buddha, Buddha, President Prime Minister, the pure syllable, which has a great benefit just by hearing all the sentient beings, negative karma get purified. Definitely it brings to enlargement. No doubt, definitely. Those who are practicing Tantra without the obstacle to complete Tantra, to complete 6 mantra, plus excellence. Then Buddha Bhagavan said yes to Genesis. Then I told Genesis for so long time to benefit for all the sentient beings, you attend this so good. Tejerji bola bani labar dunya ila sumshidam ajri bola igini mala sunu jogan tawatanji sunam asmjata majigli debatni chamajoda zure nebacho jo khara sanga duwa chamata keme barasanga duwa jowa ngejala shido told the Genesis, listen well and keep in mind. This is a few syllables, the present parameter. Great collective, great merit. Just by listening, purifies all the sentient beings, negative karma, and definitely brings to enlightenment. Those who are practicing Tantra without an obstacle, and then complete Tantra, I will explain to you. And then Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva. So that means Arya, was direct perception or anything. Then Genesis told Buddha, please explain to benefit for all the sentient. Then Buddha explained. Buddha said, I explain now and I also rejoice. Kungawa, Tepe, Rijibam, Kanala, Sunga Chimbu, Sangaji, she did that and Damachangamalo, Gamayla, the Gonjo, Vachina, Tetera, Buddha, Seratamajur. Then was telling to Buddha, Chindu Kungawa Ananda, Buddha's attendant, that any rest of the son or girl, anyone who memorize this mantra, who keep it, who read, who keep the mind, try to understand meaning, then able to remember 7 lifetimes, then it will never change, will never reverse or change from the bodhicitta to this mantra. Tayata ende bende chame chamame danase badane adane hole maha hole kare kam bihire dubude adasne dane jibadane nawadane gawadane sushi. I am sending beings to be protected from the fears and the harms and disease and contagious disease, all that. So Kungawa Sumjima Sangaji Shidani Yandaba Zuya Sanje Chawata Jita Jisungde Nayatana changes kungawa tebiri jipa kala sunga chenpa sanga shizina chamzin dam lo dama irajita kun chupa china te tsira chujiputa tsira chumpa juru te chanchu sima lemen do juru this mantra is taught by a Buddha, 10 million Buddha, but not just finished by that. 10 million of that. Idiot. 10 million Buddha, but idiot. 10 million Buddhas taught this. And so I will explain to you. I just then telling Ananda, whoever keeps this mantra, memorize, read, memorize, keep the mind, keeping the meanings, remember for 14 lifetimes, past life, remember, and no change from the bodhicitta, no reverse. These are mantra. There are some Sangha Dina, Tayata, Ate, Bahati, Ake, Bake, Take, Dake, Dara, Dakake, Take, Agasi, Magasi, Limili, Tili, Mili, Rorepe, Mao, Rape, Buddha Magame, Buddha Parayane, Timi Gite, Matimi Gite, Sambhave, Sambhave, Tata Sinjatanji Jibatam Jino, Nego Tanjila Susi, Soa, Kunga Sunga Jama Sanga, Shidani, Yanda was the Western Chemata, Kuchutan, Taku Sungtim. Maya changes Gungo Teberi Gungawa Teberi Jibor Sanja Sanga Chama the Zimba the Lava the Ilacha Gonjua Chevade Selling Yuta Jibu the Sercham Juru Chanju Jessamale Chimendo Juru de la Sunja Sanga Tata Ruli Maruli Edima Madre Zambina Tamani, the village of Jivan Sunday was an accident. At the singing was one of the Javan, the Johnson. The Javan, she was the last Joe that Sabah, Tajaban, Tuesday, Tuesday, but some Judah. Nagajaman touching what you did, let's say, virgin, and the Tawai, Yagato Rama, Tani, what the method, and the way Jawajun, number 7, Julu, Tami, Chikude, Kunga, one Jilly, and Nambane. Mado Zukungoye, the Richawa, the Tujawa, the Dawansawa, Tabini, Dingini, Sal, Francis Kungoje, Rijabu, and Yon, Kungoje, the Chibu, the Sabaye, the Gajawa, Gatilla, the Richawa, Chiba, Kemje, also was the Tadawa, said Kungo such a modern number 2, the answer, Chuni, sure, need to answer. Many say taught dance, Lunatama dance, Sikisum, Chimasanga sitting in the Rumisido, Gora Lama in Nagadam, Ram, the time, Memja, the Jaman, somebody Medasha, Sumbo, Risumbo, Risumbo. Subom, Lisubom, Subom, Lisubom, Jumbom. I think they pay. page is missing. Finally, the page is missing. No. Sorry, I made a mistake. There wasn't the prayer a good room. This one. After I read all, it wasn't. Yeah. I have to look at the beginning. There's some few syllables missing. Even the one I have to look at the few syllables missing at the beginning because the missing page. So draw the beginning page. So few syllables missing. Then I will look and get the room. And Karma Bharana Bishita Buddha Aditane Nasoha. Tadama Sherry Sanga Javas, you talk to the Butua, and Jimajaba, the Kawachavaja, Sangatanji, Ben Germans, Dila, Jumotam Zongo Juro, Sangatam J. Jango, Sangatam Jango Juro, the Asian Jizamaza about some day and the Zil do these rebels, the Tavalavis, the Sinjak and the Chua, Sherry Politim with Zimba, the Loma, the Yidu, the Yidu, Ratamje, Tavalave, Sanjula Shua Jude, and the Rebel Jimaja, the Katakata, Josamas, the Majama, Fortune, and the kitchen, some day and the Chitama, some day soon, Chuna, you do not know Chicken and the Gata, a Junde and the and just a matter that Sunday, some long about to. Power cerebrals making you say, for this one, I got the room, but so there's a few syllables missing at the beginning. I have to look for. So I will find and do the room. The few syllables missing. So that's all. Not the other one I read. Sorry. Due to all the past, present, and future merits of Kratravami, future merits of Kratravami, numberless Buddhas, may the bodhicitta, which is source of all the happiness, success, including enlargement of true oneself, to all the sentient beings, and may it be generated in the hearts of the 6 realms in the heart of everybody in the world, and in the heart of all the students and volunteers working with the center, those who rely upon me, whom I promise to pray, whose name is good to me, and all of us here, including all our family members who died, who are living. Chancho Sancho Rinpoche Majiba Najiju Jeva Nyamba Meba Kone Konta Bevarai Jo Kanri Rabe Gure Chinga Dependan Deva Malu Jue Jere Sewa Tenzen Jazo Ye Shabe Side Batu Tenju Je Toni Ninja Sundu Jibela Cheche Sante Kanten Tendu Chana Bemo Tenze Jazola Soan Desu Chendel Ondro Jo. Due to all the past, present, future merits of Kularima, future merits of Kularima, numberless Sentiments, numberless Buddhas are there. To exercise Lama Tsong, unmistaken teaching of Lama Tsongkhapa, that is living in pure morality and doing extensive deeds. With a brave heart towards sentient beings, and you have the true sage with essence, transcendent wisdom and non-dual bliss and oneness. So actually like that with all of our heart, Lama Tsongkhapa teaching. Mejo namda zangme jimdan de la jen jase jabe Jado Jage Rinye Nanju Jelo San Javi Tantan Jawara Jo Did you all the power? Nagarjuna said prayer. Whatever suffering the sentient beings have may be ripened on me. Whatever happiness and merit I have may be ripened towards all the sentient beings. Dunga Ganjiru Degun Dala Minjuji Tage Dege Jisaba Due Shala Minjuji. Due to all the past, present, future merits of Clarity Brahmi, future merits of Clarity Brahmi, numberless Sentiments, numberless Buddhas, that which are middle leveled by the mind. May the eye do that, may the eye with the middle level by the mind. Achieve the universal state of Bhajda, which is the middle level by the mind. Lead all the sentient beings who are middle level by the mind to that unified state of Bhajda, which is middle level by the mind. By Master alone, who is also middle level by the mind. Jambo Jimodo Kundu Samodan Jinda Kunjis, God Jingo, 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 Jujeradung Oranji, to spread Lama Zopa teaching in one's heart, and then one subject in the heart of all those individuals. Cheji Jabosung Avajana Baba, Jetama Shiva, the Dunjamara Samashu, Dada Sing Duzan the Devetun, Ilatan Jawala Santaway, then by you remember, enjoy. Thank you very much.